Tomorrow. Dr. Ndebele, appreciate your time. I guess it's too late to start learning now. What would your main tips be just to ease into the exam starting tomorrow?
Well, thanks for this opportunity. But I think the matriculants need to stay calm, as you say, but they also need to have a lot of rest. I think there are some who have been struggling all these past weeks, trying to, prepare for this major day, major week. And I would like them to have a good rest before they write.
I guess you say rest, but there's always that anxiety and that pressure. Do you think there is too much pressure or too much weight on the matric exams, and that it should be maybe spread over a longer period of time?
Well, there is pressure, but I think most of the pressure comes actually from the people around our matriculants, and in particular the parents. Parents are saying, you pass and we are going to reward you with this and that. You fail, you are in big trouble, and so forth. And the matriculants need to know that, when you write an exam, afterwards, you could make it or you may not make it. So they should be aware that there are some alternative avenues that are available, You can actually rewrite your maths, your metric. You may actually go to some other place other than university. So they must not see metric as the end of the world, so to speak. Yeah.
What are your views on late night studying and early morning studying?
Well, my view is that it all depends on when the next exam is going to be. Now, if you are going to write an exam the same day and the previous day you wake up maybe, you sleep quite late and maybe up to about 12 o'clock, then in the morning you're going to write at 8 o'clock, it doesn't help. But if you do that, make sure that there is no exam that you're going to be writing soon after that kind of taxing moment.
Let's talk a little bit more about the support structures around people, parents, friends. Would it be advisable to speak to your friends to see how their studying is going? Have they studied a particular topic? What their thoughts are on a possible spot for the exam the following day?
Yes and no. It could help once in a while, but the problem is that sometimes you may actually wrongly spot. You may go to a person who might actually give you wrong information. But I think the primary source at this time of our children's lives is the teacher themselves, the teachers, and also they should try and not rely too much on group work, group studying. They must learn to work on their own. Now, this group studying and other things could have happened many, many weeks before because, these metrics had a lot of time. They had lots of time. Now, it's important that they should try and give themselves this chance now and say, now, I'm going to work at it now. Yes.
How long would you say? Matric is, I remember being very stressed about, the final matric exam. But in essence, it's a revision of the year's work or maybe 2 years' work. So it's not about learning things new. And that if you keep up to date throughout the course of the year, this is just a matter of revision. But yet, if you don't keep up throughout the course of the year, it's going to become more difficult. Would that be a fair assessment?
I agree with you fully, because our matriculants many a time procrastinate. They leave things for the last moment. And I'm saying those who have been working conscientiously throughout the year will get rewarded. They won't be panicking when it comes to exam time. Yeah, I think it's important that people should work continuously and not and avoid panicking at the last moment.
Let's look at it from the teacher's perspective and the setting of these papers. How often do past papers play a role? Would you advise students to go through past papers and take us into the mindset of the people who are setting these papers?
Well, it is true that when people set papers, they usually consider the past, what has happened in the past. Similarly, the learners, the matriculants must visit those papers, must see what questions have been asked. But I would also want to add here that the matriculants need to familiarize themselves with the easier questions and the average questions first. You know, it's not paying to fail because you couldn't manage to do an easy question or an average question. What they should do is to focus on those questions that they can do, and they master them, but then they go to the more difficult ones, so that at least if they fail, it is not because they did not do the easier ones and the average ones. They must focus on those, master them, and then focus, give time to the most difficult ones. Yeah.
Let's talk about on-day preparations. What would sort of your tips be to on the morning of an exam? How close to get there in time for the exam? Give yourself time to just settle in, not be flustered, and get your headspace into the correct space.
Well, the most important thing really is to prepare well in advance. It's not about preparing the night before. So I would say that they must make sure that they have all their instruments, like the writing instruments. You can't start looking for a pen the very morning you're going to be writing. They must check quite a few things in terms of which room you're going to write and what time, because sometimes you may actually miss those two and you may be extremely devastated. Yeah, and maybe eat properly, drink a lot of water. Now, let me emphasize that one, that they should drink lots of water. It's not about carrying a lot of fruit juices into your exam room and all that. It is about eating well and, especially the low GI foods. They must eat properly, drink a lot of water, and have a good rest.
I tell you, talking about it makes me nervous. And it was like 25 years ago. Anyway, that's where we're going to have to leave it. Thank you for those tips. I'm sure the matriculants will be taking them in their stride. Good luck to everybody tomorrow. 2018 matric exams begin tomorrow. That was Wits University Senior Lecturer Dr. Mishak Ndebele chatting to us about just what to do. Stay calm. I'm sure everything's under control. And we wish you all the very, very best of luck.